Hey guys! I have finally reached the point where I can no longer put any more into my Life Crafted album. This is my first Life Crafted album that I feel like is full. It's finished. Probably one of the big reasons for that is my purpose, or the way I use my Life Crafted album is for pages that I want to make too thick for a traveler's notebook. So if I want to use big embellishments, or as you can see, pom-poms, this is the album that it goes in. So it really is just a continuation of my traveler's notebook documenting. So this is not a specific album for any purpose. It's just a general album that I use to document my life. So when I started this album at the start of the year, I had sort of segmented it off with these dividers, and I had a little bit of 2019 at the back of it, and it didn't take me very long to realize that was not going to work, or I was going to need more than 2 albums for 2020. So I did remove the few pages that I had from 2019 in this album. I haven't put them into a new Life Crafted album. Literally all I did was bind them with some of those those sort of joined, hinged 3-ring book rings. They're the same ones that I used for my Week in the Life album prep. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link the video up here, and you can take a look at how I just done the exact same thing. Just used 3 holes that are already in those pages, bound them up and popped it on the shelf. So this album is purely 2020, and I'm gonna say that probably most of these pages in here have process videos as well. I will link up here again. There's a playlist on my channel for all of my Life Crafted process videos. So if you want to take a look at a particular page, check out the playlist, and I'm sure it will be in there. So this was the first page that I created, which was this little title page. I am going to start a new album as soon as my new pretty ones come. Citrus just released a whole new range of colors, which I adore. Take a look, you will see they're totally up my alley. I have ordered all of them, so when they arrive I will start a new album, and I don't know whether I will do like another title page or not. I feel like this was kind of not necessarily just a title page, but it was like a fun page to start the year with, so I'm not sure that I need another one of those, especially given that 2020 has not turned out quite as I had hoped. No bad days. It was a good intention, it just hasn't quite worked out that way, has it? So I don't know that I'll do another title page for this. I have done a whole bunch of different dividers for different projects for my Life Crafted albums. So I think there were 4 in here. I've done a 12 one for my One Little Word. I've done 7 ones for my Week in the Life album, so you can check out all of those videos. I'll try and link all of those dividers down below. They're just free cut files that you can cut on a silhouette. The other thing with the way I use my Life Crafted album is I don't tend to use the page protectors. Like I said, I kind of treat this like a continuation of my traveler's notebooks, and I like just working on a page. So generally that's what I've done in this book. Occasionally I've got some page protector inserts in here, but otherwise I'm just working on some pre-cut card. I like having it pre-cut, pre-hole punched. It's just ready to go. The size is 5 inches by 8 1/4, so I just cut a bunch of those and have them sitting in the album ready to go, and then I can do anything on top of that. And so generally as I'm working, I'm not working back to front on those bits of card. I am like adhering them back to back, so I adhere to this one onto the back of my divider rather than working onto the back of the divider. So it makes the pages a little bit more sturdy because they're like 2 cardstock widths together. which does take out any problems of pages like folding or falling out or ripping, anything like that. It does make them a little bit stronger. Of course, it also makes them a little bit thicker, so you're probably prone to get less in your album. But like I said, I don't go, this album doesn't have too much of a purpose other than just documenting with things like puffy stickers and chipboard and pom-poms and foam things. Anything big and bulky that I want to use, it goes in this album. There was definitely a process video for this one. I loved this kit from Citrus Twist and just created this whole sort of roughly effect by using border punches. I cut strips of my scraps, punched all of this, they're all the same border punch, and then just layered them up the page, and I love the texture you get out of that. I also used some vellum for my journaling, which again gives some more texture with the stitching. And just to tie those two pages together, I added a little bit of stitching on this side here. And the rest is just really simply embellished with a few puffy stickers, a few labels, and I stamped the title with an outline and a filler stamp just to coordinate with the colors on the page. This was a page from Kelly Stamps, and I used both the actual physical stamp and the digital stamp sets. So this was a foiled piece of acetate that I used to create just a kind of overlay page with some blue foil using the digital stamp, and then I stamped a rainbow with the exact same stamp and then added a few little circle embellishments. So I can see here that one of the things that has happened is the foil on here is actually rubbed off onto the white cardstock. I don't know that there's any way to really stop that happening, and I'm totally okay with it. It almost kind of works because it's sort of picking up the edges here, making a bit more of a note of the fact that this is a fold around journaling, and on the inside is another little photo. So this is another advantage of like being able to stick those two pages together, as the insides from my brads don't show through onto the other page. I tied the two pages together by adding another circle element up here, this time with a digital stamp, and I added a couple more brads up the top here as well. And again, because I'm adhering these pages back to back, you don't see that on the other side. This was another page from Citrus Twist, and it's got a lot of, probably difficult for you to see on here, it's got a lot of dimension with some foam. I just used a little bit of craft foam. It's not quite as thick as foam squares, but it is a lot cheaper, so I used that. I've done some behind this little embellishment down here. There's some on this flag and some on this. Again, it's just another die cut piece, but I really loved it. I wanted to make it a bit more of a focal point of this page. This is one of the spreads that I was talking about that did have the page protector in it, because I love these like 2 3x4 page protectors, and I feel like it is a really nice addition when you've got kind of a simple spread like this. So I used one of the 6x8 papers from a Citrus Twist kit, but I broke it across the 2 pages, and that gives me a nice sort of backdrop for adding these, gives me 4 more slots for 3x4 cards and photos. And it just means I can coordinate the whole spread really nicely together. I do have some bigger elements on here too. I have some foam, I'm gonna say embellishments. They're not alphas. There were foam words, and there are a couple of hearts in there that I've added as well. This particular page I did actually do directly onto the back of this one, so there is a tiny bit of stitching that shows through here, but I was kind of okay with that because it was white and it just added a little bit more texture to the page. This was just a fun page that I had done with my Patreons. I created a rainbow stencil as a freebie for them, and I just did this page just to play basically with the stencil, and I used some modeling paste with a bunch of different inks mixed into it to kind of create this rainbow wash effect. I really love it. It's got a beautiful texture to it actually now when I run my fingers across it, which is another one of those reasons I love having the pages out of the page protectors, that when there are things, it's a really more tactile sensation to be able to feel the actual products in here. This page also has some little hidden journaling under the photo, so I added a Heidi swap tab just to kind of illustrate that there is something underneath there. And some of my favorite alphas from Citrus Twist, they might be my favorite ones all year so far. This was a fun page for the Pink Paisley design team. A lot of fussy cutting on here. You know, I'm not really a fussy cutting kind of person, but these were big enough florals from the 5th and Monaco collection, and I really loved them and really wanted to combine them with the back side of their paper, which was the stripes. So I only used one 12 by 12 sheet of paper for this actual page, plus a few embellishments, and I love the contrast between the black and white and that really colourful stripe. This was a really poor iPhone photo, so this is just another tip that creating a black and white photo out of those not so great photos is another way just to disguise the quality of them. This was another page that I had done. Ooh, and you can see here I've got some casualties. I wondered about these because these alphas were super old. This was a stash kit that I went through in February, I think, with my patrons, and this was using up really the last sort of scraps of that kit, and again I really wanted to use these wood veneers and I thought that they would look really good on this kind of spread, but this is something I could not do in a traveler's notebook. They really are way too thick to put into a traveler's notebook, especially when they are together. This is actually like double thickness of wood veneer, so that is something that definitely has to go into an album like this. And again, I love having it to be able to sort of touch it. This kind of thing though, with these alphas, they're super old from Dear Lizzie, and obviously have lost a bit of stick. So once I finish filming here, I might go back in and glue these down with some wet adhesive. This was a spread for Kelly stamps. I love this alpha, and I've never really used an open alpha stamp like this, using sort of pattern paper to fill in the alpha stamp, and so it did take me some time to stamp all of this and cut it all out, but I really love how it looks, especially on a black background. I do not very often use black. And I just love that contrast, and I tied the two pages together. Obviously it's all using the same collection, which is All Heart by Crepe Paper. Lots of shiny little jewels tying it all together, but also I used the black on this side. So this was another example of, I already had this black cardstock trimmed out and sitting here. It was a scrap from something else, so I trimmed it out and put it in the album, and it gave me the excuse to use it. This was a really strange page to do right at the start of lockdown, using the add-on kit from Citrus Twist. I just love the storyline chapters paper, and it was really simple. I used one piece for the background. I trimmed out one of the pieces from the cut apart sheet and just added a few embellishments. It wasn't a hugely extravagant page to do. It was really simple. I love the colors in this, and I love having this page documented. Again, this was just another page using some freebies from the Citrus Twist Facebook group. Right at the start of sort of the stay-at-home lockdown period, they had a bunch of freebies, including some of these cut files and some cut-apart sheets. So I just combined that with the leftovers of a couple of kits that I had, just to create another page about us staying at home. And again, another little Citrus Twist page. I'm not sure that this one even had a process video. This might have just been like a little extra page that I did. Didn't quite turn out the way that I wanted it, but I popped it in here anyway because this photo was so cute. But I just stamped And again, this is another page that I have stuck back to back, despite the fact that I could easily have stamped on here. I just stamped a little sort of pattern paper, I guess, onto the back and then added my photo and a few little embellishments. Another really simple page from Citrus Twist. I loved this pattern paper, and so I created a really simple page to go with it. I used a border punch to create this kind of lace looking paper, which I really loved. The pattern on the paper was an actual lace pattern, but I did not feel like fussy cutting out the lace, so I just cheated and used a border punch, and it worked really, really well. This was another like a super bright gold puffy sticker, and I used a Missy Wooden trick there to just rub a little bit of gesso on there and give it just a slightly more toned down look. The gold definitely did not go with this kind of shabby chic sort of color scheme, so just toning that down, and I did rub it back in a few places so it has some little gold highlights, and I think that worked really nicely. Running out of room here, but this was a page that I created not that long ago just to show you guys how you can use digital printables in the Silhouette software, which is free to download. You can do some really basic edits in there and still use digital printables without having to have a copy of Photoshop. So this was again a really simple page. I added all of my journaling in the software, and so the only thing that I added on top of that was my photos, a wood veneer, a chipboard. I did create this shaker page with a really cute sequin mix that my friend Alice sent me. It's got tiny little coffee cups in it, so it was perfect for this page here. And then I just had a full page photo on the back of it, and that is basically the end of my album here. I have not backed this photo with anything. It is the end of the page. I did create this envelope at the start of the year that it was to hold any sort of snippets or hidden journaling or ephemera that I wanted in the album, which I've put nothing in. I haven't put anything in here. I've kept the little envelope at the back because I thought it was pretty fabulous. I loved how that looked. So that is just in there, and I can see here, you can see this is the remainder of my trimmed out cardstock. So I've just kept that in there for safekeeping for now until I get my new album, and then I will transfer it into there. And that is the last of my divider in here as well. So that is all of the pages in this album. I haven't quite made it to halfway through the year. We're at the start of June, so I will definitely try to squeeze a bit more into the second album. I won't maybe use pom-poms, and so hopefully I will only need 2 albums for the entire year. Like I said, I have some really pretty colored ones coming shortly, so I don't think that I will transfer them out of the black ones. I think I'm just going to start a whole new album that is a little bit more colorful, hopefully for the second half of this year. Let's cross our fingers it goes a bit better than the first half. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you are all doing really well and that you're staying safe and being kind to one another, and I will see you again really soon. Bye guys.